my name is Mike Lodewegen. I am the lobbyist for the School Administrators Coalition. The School Administrators Coalition is a group of 9 different organizations, including MASSP, MAESP, the elementary principals, as well as several administrator and superintendent organizations. On a day-to-day basis, from January to May, you can find me at the Capitol during the legislative session. At those times, we are testifying in favor of bills, opposing bills, but the big thing is we're getting information from what's going on in the halls of the Capitol out to stakeholders in the field and our members. The 2013 legislative session turned out to be a very divisive one at times. We saw many issues that were being pursued by groups such as Students First, which is a national organization based out of California, Sacramento, California, that is headed by a lady named Michelle Rhee. She's a former chancellor of DC Public Schools who has made really her living and made Students First living coming into states and trying to change a lot of their education policies. In Missouri, we have a unique situation as well where that group has been joined by a very wealthy individual out of the St. Louis area named Rex Sinkfield, who is very interested in education reform and changes to education policy. Some of those things that they typically have pursued and they did into the 2013 school or legislative session is a parent trigger bill, which would allow districts, for parents in schools, if 50% of parents in an individual school were to sign a petition, those parents could change the makeup of the school, change it to a charter school, could fire the principal, could get rid of all the teachers. They could dissolve the school and attach it to the nearest school. Another bill that we worked on a lot this session was a bill that tried to grade schools based on their MSIP 5 scores. As many of you know, that becomes difficult when a lot of our schools do not get evaluated based on every MSIP 5 score. For instance, K2 buildings in Missouri are not tested, so I find it very hard to believe that under this sort of bill that an accurate grade of a school and how it's doing would be based on only the attendance rate. The big issues that we worked on this year that you all, I'm sure, are aware about are changes to Missouri's teacher evaluation and teacher tenure system. The bill and the issue that was presented by Students First and some of their proponents in the legislature was to base a teacher's evaluation 50% on student growth. These evaluations would then in turn be used to determine all personnel decisions that the school would make. The bill that was originally filed, House Bill 631, did several things that probably had unintended consequences from what the proponents were really pushing. The proponents of the bill like to talk about educator quality. They like to talk about getting rid of bad teachers. However, when I go through as we talk about some of the things that were in this bill, that couldn't be further from the truth. For instance, one of the big problems with House Bill 631, it repealed all the laws governing the remediation of tenured teachers and termination of probationary teachers. These statutes have been around for 40 years. All case law that school districts have to go through right now are based on that. In addition, it said that probationary teachers could only be let go once they received 2 consecutive ratings of ineffective. These 2 provisions alone would have had the practical effect of keeping bad teachers in a classroom for up to 3 years. Districts would have been forced to either go to court and expend a lot of money and scarce resources in order to fire a teacher, or they would likely make the decision to leave a bad teacher in the classroom for 3 years. This is an oversight by folks from the other side, but this is the type of issue that happens when outside entities come into Missouri and try to change the way that we educate our kids. House Bill 631, as far as the problems with the bill, relating to principals. One of the requirements in House Bill 631 was to require a summative evaluation of every teacher every year. As many of you know, and as many of the principals around the state know, you're stretched thin as it is. Having to do a summative evaluation for every teacher every year would become a nightmare given the number of principals that we have in this state. That alone was a reason enough to oppose the bill and to really get involved to kill it. We were actually able to work with the teachers groups, both NEA, MSTA, and AFT. In this day and age, with some of the folks on the other side that are pushing some very extreme measures, we've found that it's very important for all of us, whether we are administrators, principals, superintendents, central office staff, teachers. We have to put aside our differences in order to stick together to defend public education from folks that really are not interested in promoting it. House Bill 631, I am glad to report, was defeated early on in session by a vote of 55 yes and 102 no in the House of Representatives. This was a huge victory for us in the fact that actually a majority of the majority party voted against the bill. After the initial defeat of House Bill 631, it became very apparent that even the language that was added to Senate Bill 125 was not likely to be successful in getting out of the House of Representatives. The reason being was that the proponents of the bill saw that if they included teachers in the evaluation portion of the bill, they knew that the bill was dead. Their solution to that problem was to remove teachers from the evaluation requirement and make the evaluation requirement, this new evaluation requirement, apply to only administrators, including principals, central office staff, bookkeepers, and those sort of things. Once the bill was changed to include only administrators, the bill came to a vote on the floor of the Missouri House. Typically when these bills, education reform bills, come up for a vote in the House of Representatives, it's often done very late at night because there is typically a lot of arm wringing and threats that are made to legislators that might want to support their local schools rather than the policy of the leadership in Jefferson City. Frequently the voting board is left open for up to 30 minutes while members of the General Assembly will go around and lean on people to change their vote. 30 minutes after the vote opened for Senate Bill 125 that included only administrators, I'm happy to report that the bill was defeated by a vote of 76 yes and 82 no, effectively killing the bill and the issue for us this year. The 2013 legislative session really turned out to be a successful one for school administrators. First, we killed a lot of those bad bills that were bad for public education in Missouri. But we also were able to get a few things passed that were important for members. The first and foremost was a permanent extension of what's known as the 25 and out clause with the retirement system in Missouri. Frequently, this 25 and out provision is a lot of times used by principals and administrators to really move teachers out a little bit prior to the end of their career if their fire is burnt out. Teachers will receive a lower benefit, but they're able to still get a benefit rather than having to wait until they're 30 years in order to get a benefit from the retirement system. As we look towards 2014 and what to expect next session, as many of you are aware, in the St. Louis area and Kansas City area, the Supreme Court has ruled that students living in unaccredited districts shall have the ability to transfer to a surrounding district, either in their county or an adjoining county. This has set off a firestorm, particularly in St. Louis, on how these transfers are going to be implemented. We will likely be seeing a push next year in order to get some reasonable parameters put on those transfers. We will also likely see from our reformers and our advocates for education reform a likely push for things like vouchers, open enrollment, and those sort of things. 2014 is also, we will also likely see several bills that are going to be deemed reform. I would not be surprised if we saw the same teacher evaluation bill that we saw last year, and a few others that some of these national groups are trying to pass in other states. As far as funding, Missouri is still underfunding its foundation formula to schools by about $620 million this year. We're not seeing anything that is going to change that as of right now, but funding will likely be an issue next year. Another big one is likely to be Common Core, and particularly with the implementation of the Smarter Balanced testing in the next couple of years. Districts are facing technology challenges in order to implement those tests, and so we will likely be having those discussions with legislators in the coming years. In addition to, with Common Core, there is a large contingent of folks within the Tea Party around the state and around the country even that are not supporters of Common Core and would like to see it completely go away. We will be trying to ensure that the work and the professional development that schools have done over the last 2 or 3 years in order to move towards Common Core and the Smarter Balanced testing is intact and protected. We do have technology challenges in the state of Missouri, both in rural and urban school districts. These technology challenges are barriers to fully implementing Smarter Balanced testing, and so we will be talking to legislators about the need to really invest in a 21st century education system where technology is the focus of our work. Our success in 2013 and our ongoing success in future years is largely has to be based on administrators and their involvement both in their communities and their schools, but also politically and within their professional organizations. The reason we've been able to stop a lot of very, very bad bills and attacks on our schools is because administrators stay in touch with what's going on. They read our SAC bulletins that go out every Monday. They stay up to date on the issues and the debate going on in Jefferson City. That has to continue if we are going to be successful. We have too many well-funded, well-organized folks on the other side that are pouring millions of dollars into a lot of folks' campaign coffers in order to get an agenda push that is not friendly to public schools, and it's not good for kids. I encourage you all to stay up to date when we enter the 2014 session with the SAC bulletins and also anything coming out of MASSP in the coming months, and particularly during session. In closing, I just want to say a word of thanks to you as principals and administrators. The work that you do for kids and for the schools of the state is incredible. I'm proud to represent you in the halls of the Capitol. And as you enter your 2014 school year, I wish you nothing but the best and good luck.